Hi all, Raven Azar here again for another Commander deck tech for my boxing league. Today we're going to be going over Satoru Umezawa. He's a colorless, a blue and a black to play. Human Ninja 2/4. Says that whenever you activate a Ninjitsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in in any order. And this ability triggers only once each turn. Each creature card in your hand has Ninjitsu that you can activate with 2 colorless, a blue and a black. So name of the game is to try to utilize the fact that he grants Ninjitsu to all creatures in your hand and trying to get that card advantage. So let's see what I was able to come up with. I got a lot of creatures, so we're going to go over them the best we can. Starting out with a Lantern Bearer for 1 blue. It's a 1/1 flyer. It's got Disturb that you can cast from your graveyard to transform it for its Disturb cost. Have this guy primarily for his 1/1 flying, but if you cast the Disturb cost, you get an enchantment aura for Lantern's Lift. So you can enchant a creature. Training creature gets +1/+1 and has flying. And then if this will be put into the graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So pretty good. We got a Network Disruptor for a blue. Moonfolk Rogue. It's got flying. It's 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, you get to tap target permanent. Pretty darn good. Running Thousand Face Shadow for a blue. He's got his own Ninjitsu here, which is pretty good. It's 1/1 with flying. It says that when he enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, create a token that's a copy of another target attacking creature. The token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. Nice. We like that. Also running Automated Artificer for 2 colorless. Basically, I can tap it for a colorless. Spend the mana only to activate an ability or cast an artifact spell. Ninjitsu's an ability, so this will be helpful. Running a Dokushi Silencer. It's a 1 colorless and black. Human Ninja 2/1 with Ninjitsu of his own. Says that whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may discard a creature card, and when you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker that player controls. Very nice. Running Goshintai of Lost Wisdom for a colorless and a blue. It's a Shrine 0/4 with flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1, and when you do, target player mills X cards, where X is the number of shrines you control. I'm using this guy primarily for the flying purposes. We got the Inkrise Infiltrator for a colorless and a black. Human Ninja 1/2 with flying. Pay 3 and a black to make it so that this guy gets a +2/+2 till end of turn. Nice. Also running Jacob Hauken Inspector for a colorless and a blue. Human Advisor 0/2. Says you can tap him to draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down, and you may look at that card for as long as it remains exiled. You may pay 4 colors and double blue. If you do, you're going to transform Jacob Hauken. And when we do, we get Hauken's Insight, which is a legendary enchantment. It says that at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library face down. You may look at that card as long as it remains exiled. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land or cast a spell from among the cards exiled with this permanent without paying its mana cost. Nice, very good. We like that. Got the Moon Circuit Hacker here for a colorless and blue. It's got Ninjitsu. It's a 2/1. It says that whenever it deals combat damage to a player, You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card unless when Circuit Hacker enters the battlefield this turn. Very nice. Got that Inzumi Prowler here for colorless and black. It's a 3/1 with its own ninjitsu abilities there. It says that when it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains Death Touch and Lifelink till end of turn. Very good. I like that. We're running the Reality Chip for a colorless and a blue. It's an Equipment Jellyfish for 0/4. It says that you may look at the top card of your library anytime. As long as a Reality Chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. You can reconfigure for 2 colorless and blue. Very good. We're also running the Silver Fur Master here for a blue and a black. The 2/2. It's got its own ninjitsu. It says ninjitsu abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. Other ninja and rogue creatures you control get +1/+1. Pretty good. We're also running the Storm Chaser Drake for 1 colorless and a blue. It's 2/1 Drake with flying. It says that whenever Storm Chaser Drake becomes the target of spell you control, draw 1. Very good. We got the Voldaren Bloodcaster here for colorless and a black. It's a vampire wizard with flying. Says that when she dies or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. And when you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, right, you get to transform her into the Bloodbat Summoner. Very good. 3/3 vampire wizard with flying, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat creature with flying and haste in addition to its other types. Very good. Running the Biting Palm Ninja for 2 colors and a black. It's Human Ninja. It's got its own ninjitsu there. It says when it enters the battlefield, put the menace counter on it. It also says that whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a menace counter from it, and when you do, the player reveals their hand and you choose a non-land card from it and exile that card. Very good. Running the Cemetery Illuminator for colorless and 3 blue. That's a spirit with flying. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get to exile a card from a graveyard. And you may look at the top card of your library anytime, and then watch each turn you may cast a spell from the top of your library. If it shares a card type with a card exiled with Cemetery Illuminator. Very good. I'm also running a Carrier Bat for 2 colors and black. It's just a 2/2 with flying. But when it enters the battlefield, if you gain life this turn, turn up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Very good. We got the Dream Shackle Geist here for a colorless and double blue. 3/1 flying. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to choose up to 1. You can tap target creature, or target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Very good. We have the Falcon Wrath Forebearer here for 2 colorless and a black. Vampire, flying, can't block. And when it deals combat damage to a player, you get to create a blood token. You pay black and sacrifice 2 blood tokens to return Falcon Wrath Forebearer from your graveyard to the battlefield. Also running the Foreboding Statue for 3 colorless. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color and put an Omen counter on Foreboding Statue. At the beginning of your end step, if there are 3 or more Omen counters on Foreboding Statue, untap it and then transform it. And when you transform it, at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add 1 mana of any color. It's a 5/5. Very good. I like that. We're running a Draw Visionary Stitcher for 2 colors and a blue. Human Wizard says the zombies you control have flying. Pay blue and tap it and sacrifice another non-token creature to create an XX blue zombie creature token where X is the sacrifice creature's toughness. This guy's very good in this kind of a deck because it's creating zombies that are capable of flying. And pretty much you can just sit on the side there. So if something happens to any of your good stuff, in response you can go ahead and just sacrifice them so you can get the zombie that can fly and still become useful, right? So I like that guy. We got the Gravelighter here for 2 colors and a black. It's another flyer that says that when it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card if a creature died this turn. Otherwise, each player sacrifices a creature. So, very good. We're also running Nashi Moon Sage of Scion here for colorless and double black. It's got Ninjitsu. It's a 3/2. Says that when it deals combat damage to a player, you get to exile the top card of each player's library. Until end of turn, you may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying for its mana cost. Very good. We have the Prosperous Thief here for 2 colors and a blue. It's got Ninjitsu, and whenever one or more ninja or rogue creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Very good. Oh, there we go. We're running Reno Stormkirk in this deck for a colorless, a blue and a black. 1/4 vampire cleric with flying. It says that when he enters the battlefield, up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard, you get to put it on top of your library. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library, reveal that card, or you may reveal the card. If a creature card with mana value 6 or greater is revealed this way, you get to transform him. He becomes Krothus, Lord of the Deep, 3/5 flyer. That says when he attacks, you get to create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of another target attacking creature. If that creature is a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent, you create 2 of those tokens instead. Very good. We also have the Searchlight Companion here for 3 colorless. It's just a flyer that when it enters battlefield, you get to create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token, so that's pretty good. Undersea Scrounger, Human Rogue for 2 colorless and a black. 1/4 that you can tap to create a treasure token. You can activate only if a creature died this turn. It's not bad. We're also running Enrica Domnathi here for 2 colorless and double black. Vampire 1/3 with flying that says at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Each player sacrifices a creature, you draw a card and you lose 1 life, or you transform Enrica Domnathi. So if you decide to transformer, yeah, more than meets the eye, that's right. She becomes Henrika Infernal Seer. She'll be a 3/4 vampire with flying, death touch, and lifelink, with an ability that you can activate with a colorless and double black. Each creature you control with flying, death touch, and or lifelink gets +1/+0 till end of turn. Very good. We also run the Mirror Hall Mimic here for 3 colors and a blue. It says when it enters the battlefield, come in as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, so even any of your opponents, except it's a spirit in addition to its other types. You can cast it for a disturb cost if you want, if something happens to it. And if you do, you'll get your Ghastly Mimicry. So you can enchant a creature, and at the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except it's a spirit in addition to its other types. If it would be put into the graveyard anywhere, you'll exile this card instead. Very good. We like that. We have the Moon Snare Specialist here for 3 colors in the blue. Another human ninja with its own ninjitsu. When it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. So, pretty good. We have the Overcharged Amalgam here for 2 colors and double blue. Zombie horror, 3/3 with flash and flying and exploit. And when Overcharged Amalgam exploits a creature, counter target spell, activate ability, or triggered ability. Pretty good. Running the Itawashi Guy bot here for 4 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Pay 4 and tap to draw a card, and then this ability costs 1 less to activate for each modified creature you control. Pretty good. So we have Kotos, the Silent Spider, for 3 colors and a blue and a black. The Human Ninja, 4/4. She says that when she enters the battlefield, exile target card other than a basic land card from an opponent's graveyard. Search this player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as the card exiled from them. And the player shuffles. For as long as you control Kotos, you may play one of the exiled cards, and you may spend mana as though or mana of any color to cast it. Pretty good. Running the Rot-Tide Gargantua for 3 colors and double black. Zombie Kraken, 5/4 with exploit. It says that when he exploits a creature, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Pretty good. Running the Cemetery Desecrator here for 4 colors and double black. 4/4 zombie with menace. It says that when it enters the battlefield or dies, exile another card from a graveyard, and when you do, choose one. Remove X counters from target permanent, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Or target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Pretty good. Running the Dreadfaced Demon for 5 colors and double black. 6/6 demon with flying. And at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a non-demon creature. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Dreadfaced Demon. Very good. Running the Hullbreaker Horror. It's got 5 colors and double blue to play. 7/8 Kraken Horror with flash. This spell cannot be countered. And whenever you cast a spell, you get to choose up to 1. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Very good. Very excellent. Running Jin Kataxis, Progress Tyrant for 5 colors and double blue. It's a Phyrexian Praetor. 5/5. Says whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Also says that whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, you counter that spell. And this ability triggers only once each turn. Very good. Last but not least, yeah, you had to see it coming. Running Toxtril the Corrosive. 5 colors and double black. Slug Horror, 7/7. Probably one of the most disgusting creatures we've seen in quite a while. It says that at the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token. You may pay blue and a black to sacrifice a slug to draw a card. This guy is so good. Happy to be able to play him again. So I got a lot of them, but these are all my creatures I'm running for this deck. Pretty happy with them. Let's take a look at instants. We're running the Undying Malice for a black. It says that until end of turn, target creature gains when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Pretty good. You are already dead for a black. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. And you get to draw a card. Pretty good. Like that. Running the Planar Incision here for colorless and blue. Exile target artifact or creature, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Like that. We have a return to action for another colorless and blue, or black, excuse me. It says until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains lifelink, and when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. That's pretty good. We have the Assassin's Ink for 2 colorless and double black. It says this spell costs 1 less to cast if you control an artifact and 1 less to cast if you control an enchantment. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Pretty good. We're also running Bleed Dry for 2 colorless and double black. Target creature gets -13/-13 until end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Nice. We have March of Swirling Mists here for X and blue. Additional cost to cast this spell. You may exile any number of blue cards from your hand. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. Up to X target creatures phase out. This is really good for either protecting your creatures from something bad happening, or if you're looking to end the game, you could probably phase out all the creatures on your opponent's side of the field. Very good. March of Wretched Sorrow, X and black. Essential cost to cast this spell. You may exile any number of black cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. It'll deal X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain the X life. Pretty good. That's it for my instances. Let's take a look at sorceries. We got a Soul Transfer here for a colorless and double black. Choose one. If you control an artifact or an enchantment, as you cast this spell, you may choose both. Exile target creature or planeswalker, and return target creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. Very good. I'm running Anchor to Reality in this deck for 2 colorless and double blue. As additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Search your library for an equipment or vehicle card, put that card in the battlefield, then shuffle. If it has mana value less than the sacrifice permanent's mana value, you get to scry 2. I have this in this deck specifically for Eater of Virtue, and I'll explain why when I get there. Running Consuming Tide for 2 colorless and double blue. Says each player chooses a non-land permanent they control. Return all non-land permanents not chosen this way to their owner's hands. Then you draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in their hand than you. Very good. Also running Invoke the Wilds. Invoke the Winds. The Winds, not the Wilds. For colorless and for blue. It says to gain control of target artifact or creature and untap it. Very good. Also running Okiba Salvage for 4 colors and a black. Turn target creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then put 2 +1/+1 counters on the permanent if you control an artifact and an enchantment. Very good. That's it for sorceries. Now, artifacts. Eater of Virtue. So the reason why I put a lot of stock in this is because of what it does. So let's go for it. It's got 1 colorless to play and 1 colorless to equip. It says that whenever equipped creature dies, you exile it. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. As long as a card exiled with Eater Virtue has flying, equipped creature has flying. And the same goes true for first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, and vigilance. For this deck's purpose, this guy's going to help me out with being able to do multiple ninjitsu triggers, I believe, by having a flyer be equipped with Eater Virtue and somehow getting the flyer to die, which I have ways of doing that myself if I can't get one of my fellow players to be able to help me out with that. And hopefully then I will be able to exile the flyer to grant any of my ninjitsu creatures without flying the ability to fly with Eater Virtue and ninjitsuing it out so it doesn't have to deal with the dying effect if that were to be something that took place. So I can at least use Eater Virtue's flying then to make it so that I can keep bouncing my ninjitsu cards over and over again. So we'll see how it goes, right? Also running a Moonsnare prototype for blue. I can tap an untapped artifact or creature I control to add colorless, or I can channel it for 4 and a blue, discard it, and then owner of target non-land permanent puts it on top or bottom of their library. Not bad. I'm also running Mirror Box in this deck for 3 colorless. It says that the legend rule does not apply to permanents you control. Each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1. Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. This is good, especially with the Dread Feast Demon. If it's going off and I have Mirror Box on the field, more likely I'll probably win just by killing people with that. The other purpose for this particular guy here is for me to be able to allow making copies of legendary creatures that I have, because I do have ways of making copies of creatures in this deck, so grabs me that ability. Network Terminal here for 3 colorless. I can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, or I can pay 1 and tap another untapped artifact I control, draw a card, and then discard a card. Also running the Dollhouse of Horrors here for 5 colorless. I can pay 1 and tap this guy to exile a creature card from my graveyard. I get to create a token that's a copy of the exiled card, except a 0/0 construct artifact in addition to its other types, and it has this creature gets +1/+1 for each construct you control, and it gains haste till end of turn. I can only activate this as a sorcery. It's a good way for me to get some really big guys back from my graveyard in case something happens to them. And when I mean big guys, they're not going to be big anymore, just usually their effects are pretty damaging, and that's why they get taken out of the deck. So a way to get them back easy is pretty good. Enchantments. Running Cradle of Safety for a colorless and a blue. I get to enchant a creature I control, and it has flash. When it enters the battlefield, enchanted creature gains hexproof till end of turn. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Running Tamio's Completion here for 3 colors and a blue. Also has flash. I can enchant an artifact, creature, or planeswalker. When it enters the battlefield, I get to tap the permanent, and if it's an equipment, I get to unattach it. And then enchanted permanent loses all abilities and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Very good. I like that. Running the Twisted Embrace for 2 colors and double black. It's an aura. I can enchant an artifact or creature I control. When it enters the battlefield, I get to destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. As long as the enchanted permanent is a creature, I get +1/+1. Running Awakened Awareness for X and double blue. Artifact, it's an aura, and I can enchant an artifact or creature. When it enters the battlefield, I put X +1/+1 counters on enchanted permanent. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, its has base power and toughness 1/1. So usually, for the most part, I'm going to be putting this on an opponent of mine's creature and just paying the double blue so that it becomes a 1/1 base power and toughness, just in case I want to somehow kill it in some way or you know, diffuse a situation with somebody big. I got some Planeswalkers here running Kaito Suzuki for a blue, a black, and a colorless. It starts out with 3 loyalty, and at the beginning of your end step, if he entered the battlefield this turn, he phases out. You can +1 him to draw a card, then discard a card unless you attacked this turn. You can -2 him to create a 1/1 blue ninja creature token, but this creature can't be blocked. That's really good. You can -7 him to get an emblem that says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a blue or black creature card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. Very good. We're running Sorin the Mirthless in this deck for 2 colorless and double black. Starts out with 4 loyalty. His +1 says look at the top card of your library and you may reveal a card, or you may reveal that card and put it into your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. You can -2 him to create a 2/3 black vampire creature token with flying and lifelink. Or you can -7 him and he'll deal 13 damage to any target and you gain 13 life. Pretty good. And we've got Tezzeret, Betrayer of Flesh here for 2 colors and double blue. He starts out with 4 loyalty counters on him. He says that his first activated ability, or excuse me, the first activated ability of an artifact you activate each turn costs 2 less to activate. That's pretty good. You +1 him to draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. You can -2 him for target artifact to become an artifact creature, and if it's a vehicle, it has base power and toughness 4/4. And you can -6 him, and you get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control becomes tapped, you get to draw a card. So, pretty good. So that's it for my Planeswalkers. I got some lands here, so let's take a look. Running Evolving Wilds. Tap it, sacrifice the Evolving Wilds to search my library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield tapped and then shuffle. Got our mech hanger here that I could tap for colorless, or I can tap to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only cast a pilot or vehicle spell, or I can pay 3 and tap it to have target vehicle become an artifact creature until end of turn. We're running Adawara, the Soaring City. I can tap it for blue, or I can channel it for 3 colorless and a blue and discard it to return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature I control. We have the Roadside Reliquary. I can tap it for colorless, or I can pay 2 and tap it. Sack it to draw a card if I control an artifact, and draw a card if I control an enchantment. We have a Secluded Courtyard, enters battlefield. I get to choose a creature type, tap it to add colorless mana to my mana pool, or I can add 1 mana of any color to spend to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, or activate an ability of a creature or a creature card of the chosen type. Pretty good. We have a Takunama, the Abandoned Mire. I can tap for black, or channel it for 3 colors and black and discard it. Mill 3 cards and return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. We also are running the Uncharted Haven. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you get to choose a color. Add 1 mana of the chosen color. It's pretty good. And running some basic lands here from the set. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Very beautiful. Very pretty. I enjoy the art here. So that's my Satoru Umezawa deck. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment in the comments down below if you got some advice on the deck. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate you. Hope you have a good one. Enjoy your day.